She was too old for the young billionaire. But his love never gave up. When 38-year-old Lisa Wicks walked into that conference room, the last thing she expected was to lock eyes with a 31-year-old billionaire who looked at her like she was the only woman in the world. She told herself the age difference was too much. He told her age was just a number. What happened next would prove one of them right, and it wasn't who she expected. Welcome back to CJ Stories, where we bring you emotional and heart-touching stories that speak to the soul. If you're just joining us for the first time, you're welcome to this wonderful big family. We're so glad to have you here. Please make sure to watch till the end, and if today's story moves you, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and share this video with your family and loved ones. Now, let's dive into today's story. The conference room had that specific silence that only comes right before someone's world shifts. Lisa Wicks stood at the presentation podium, her burgundy blazer pressed sharp, her natural curls pulled into a professional bun. 38 years old. Single mother. Business consultant who'd clawed her way back from a divorce that nearly broke her 3 years ago. She didn't have time for distractions. Especially not the kind currently sitting in the third row, watching her with an intensity that made her forget her next slide. Richard Thompson. 31 years old. Tech billionaire. The man whose company she'd been hired to consult for. And 7 years younger than her. 7 years. The number sat in her stomach like a stone. Ms. Wicks. His voice cut through her pause. Smooth. Confident. The kind of voice that belonged to someone who'd made his first $100 million before most people paid off their student loans. You were saying something about operational restructuring? Lisa's fingers found the clicker. Right. As I was outlining, your customer retention model needs a complete overhaul. She didn't look at him as she spoke. Couldn't. Because every time she did, something in her chest did this thing. This flutter she hadn't felt since she was 25 and stupid enough to believe in fairy tales. She was smarter now. Older. A mother with a 12-year-old daughter and stretch marks and a mortgage and zero interest in being anyone's midlife crisis. Even if he did have those eyes. That jawline. That way of listening like every word she said mattered more than anything else in the world. Your current approach, she continued, pulling up the next slide, focuses too heavily on acquisition and not enough on relationship building. You're losing clients at the 6-month mark because we're not making them feel valued, Richard finished. He leaned forward, elbows on the conference table. We treat them like transactions instead of partnerships. Their eyes met. Lisa's throat went dry. Exactly, she managed. The presentation lasted another 20 minutes. Lisa delivered every point with the precision she'd spent 3 years rebuilding. When the divorce papers were finalized in 2021, when she was 35 and starting over, she'd promised herself something. Never again would she be vulnerable. Never again would she need anyone. She'd built her consulting business from nothing. Raised Maya alone. Proved to everyone, especially herself, that she didn't need a man to be complete. So why was her hand shaking as she packed up her laptop? Ms. Wicks. She turned. Richard stood 3 feet away, hands in the pockets of trousers that probably cost more than her car payment. Up close, he was worse. Better. Devastating. That was impressive, he said. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Richard. He smiled. Mr. Thompson is my father, and he's definitely too old to be in this room. Was that a joke about age? Lisa's spine stiffened. I'll have the full report to your team by Friday. Have dinner with me. The words hung in the air between them. Lisa blinked. Excuse me? Dinner. Thursday night. There's a place in Savannah. We're in Savannah, Georgia, one of the most romantic cities in the country, and I haven't taken advantage of it once since I moved the satellite office here. He said it like it was simple. Easy. Like she wasn't 7 years older than him. Like she didn't have a daughter waiting at home. Like the entire world wouldn't look at them and see exactly what Lisa saw, a mismatch. Mr. Thompson. Richard. Richard. She shouldered her laptop bag. I'm your consultant. It would be inappropriate. The contract ends Friday. I have a daughter. I like kids. I'm 38 years old. The words came out sharper than she intended. Harder. Like a shield. Richard's expression didn't change. I'm aware. You're 31. Also aware. So you understand why this is. Why what is? He stepped closer. Not threatening. Not aggressive. Just present. Why having dinner with someone is complicated. No, actually. I don't understand that at all. Lisa's heart hammered against her ribs. This was insane. She was a grown woman. A mother. She'd survived a marriage that ended because her ex-husband decided she wasn't exciting enough anymore. She'd rebuilt herself from nothing. She didn't do spontaneous. She didn't do risk. She definitely didn't do younger men who looked at her like she was the only person in the world. "I don't think that's a good idea," she said quietly. Richard held her gaze for a long moment. Then he nodded. "Okay." He didn't argue. Didn't push. Just accepted her answer like a man who understood boundaries. Which somehow made it worse. Lisa walked to the door, her heels clicking on the polished floor. She made it 3 steps into the hallway before his voice stopped her. "Lisa." She turned. He stood in the doorway, silhouetted by the conference room lights. "For what it's worth." Richard's voice was soft. Honest. "I don't care about 7 years. I care about the fact that you're the first person in 3 years who's made me forget to check my phone." Then he was gone, door closing softly behind him. Lisa stood in the empty hallway, laptop bag sliding down her shoulder, heart doing things it had no business doing. Her phone buzzed. "Maya, *Mom, when are you home? I'm starving and Grandma made meatloaf again." Reality crashed back. She had a life. Responsibilities. A daughter who needed her. She didn't have room for billionaires with perfect smiles and words that made her feel 25 again. She didn't. But as Lisa walked to her car through Savannah's humid April evening, past the Spanish moss and the historic squares, she couldn't stop replaying his words. "The first person who's made me forget to check my phone *." Her hands gripped the steering wheel. This was going to be a problem. What Lisa doesn't know, Richard Thompson has already decided she's worth fighting for. And when a billionaire makes up his mind, age is just a number he's willing to ignore. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more emotional and heart-touching stories that speak to the soul, and share your thoughts in the comments to tell us which story you want to hear next. Now let us continue. 3 days later, Lisa was still thinking about him. Which was ridiculous. Completely, utterly ridiculous. She sat at her kitchen table in her modest Savannah townhouse, the May morning sun filtering through the curtains, her laptop open to the Thompson tech report she was supposed to be finalizing. Instead, she'd read the same paragraph 5 times. "I don't care about 7 years. Mom, you're doing the thing again." Lisa blinked. Maya stood in the doorway, 12 years old and far too perceptive, her natural curls pulled into 2 puffs, school uniform slightly wrinkled. "What thing?" "The staring at nothing thing. You've been weird since Tuesday." Maya grabbed a granola bar from the pantry. "Is it a boy?" "What?" "No. Maya, you're 12. We don't have boy conversations yet. Grandma says you need to date more. Grandma needs to mind her business." Maya grinned, slinging her backpack over her shoulder. "So it is a boy." Lisa pointed to the door. "Bus. Now. Before I ground you for being too smart." Her daughter laughed, kissed her cheek, and was gone in a whirlwind of preteen energy. The house settled into silence. Lisa looked back at her laptop. The report was perfect. She knew it was perfect. She'd triple-checked every recommendation, every data point, every projection. It was the best work she'd done in years. She could email it right now. End the contract. Never see Richard Thompson again. Her finger hovered over the send button. The doorbell rang. Lisa frowned. She wasn't expecting anyone. She moved to the front door, peered through the peephole, and her heart stopped. Richard Thompson stood on her porch, holding 2 coffee cups and looking unfairly good in jeans and a navy Henley that should be illegal. She opened the door. "How did you get my address?" "Company directory." He offered one of the cups. "Caramel macchiato, extra shot, light foam. Your assistant mentioned it was your favorite." Lisa stared at the coffee. At him. "You called my assistant?" "I'm resourceful." That smile again. The one that made her forget she was a responsible adult. "And before you ask, this isn't about business. The contract ends tomorrow. I'm here as Richard, not as your client." "Richard who showed up uninvited at my house? Richard who really wants to take you to breakfast?" She should say no. She should absolutely, definitively say no. "I have to send your report by end of day." "It's 9 a.m. Plenty of time." He tilted his head. "Come on, Lisa. It's just breakfast. Eggs. Toast. Maybe some bacon. Very low stakes." Everything about this man was high stakes. But the coffee smelled amazing, and Maya was at school, and Lisa couldn't remember the last time someone had shown up just to see her. 1 hour, she heard herself say. His smile could have powered the entire city. The cafe was tucked away in Savannah's historic district, all exposed brick and local art and the kind of charm that made the city famous. Richard had chosen a corner table near the window overlooking one of the famous squares. Lisa sat across from him, her coffee warming her hands, trying not to notice how he looked in natural light. "So," Richard said, cutting into his omelet. "Tell me something real." "Real?" "Yeah. Not consultant Lisa. Not professional Lisa. Real Lisa." He met her eyes. What do you do when you're not saving failing companies? She shouldn't answer. Shouldn't give him anything personal. I read, she said. Historical fiction, mostly. And I go to Maya's soccer games. And I argue with my mother about whether I need to date more. Richard's eyebrow lifted. And do you? Need to date more? According to my daughter and my mother, yes. According to me, I'm perfectly fine alone. Are you? The question was quiet. Direct. It slipped past her defenses before she could stop it. I was married for 10 years, Lisa said, surprising herself. Met him when I was 25. Thought it was forever. Then I turned 35, and he decided I wasn't enough anymore. Too focused on being a mom. Too comfortable. Too boring. She took a sip of coffee. So I rebuilt. Started my business. Proved I didn't need him. And now I'm here. Here having breakfast with a stranger who can't stop thinking about you. Lisa's breath caught. Richard. I know what you're going to say. He set down his fork. You're going to tell me I'm too young. That this doesn't make sense. That 7 years is too much of a gap. He leaned forward. But here's what I know, Lisa. I built a billion-dollar company by the time I was 29. I've had every opportunity, every door opened, every person telling me yes. And none of it, has made me feel the way I felt watching you present on Tuesday. You don't know me. So let me. The words hung between them, wrapped in the morning light and the smell of coffee and the sound of Savannah waking up outside. Lisa's phone buzzed. She glanced down, a reminder about Maya's soccer practice at 4. I have a daughter, she said softly. A whole life. Responsibilities. I can't just feel things and act on them. That's not who I am anymore. Who are you? She looked up. Richard's gaze was steady. Patient. Like he'd wait forever for her answer. I'm someone who got hurt, Lisa whispered. Someone who can't afford to be reckless. I'm not asking you to be reckless. He reached across the table, his hand stopping just short of hers. Not touching. Offering. I'm asking you to have dinner with me. One dinner. And if you hate it, if I'm everything you're afraid of, I'll walk away. But if there's even a chance that what I feel isn't one-sided. Lisa looked at his hand. Strong. Steady. Younger than hers by 7 years, but somehow exactly what she wanted to hold on to. She was going to regret this. She knew she was going to regret this. One dinner, she said. Richard's smile was sunrise. Friday night. I'll pick you up at 7. Friday arrived too fast and not fast enough. Lisa stood in front of her bedroom mirror, changing outfits for the 4th time. The black dress was too formal. The jeans too casual. The blue wrap dress made her look like she was trying too hard. Mom, you look beautiful. She turned. Maya sat on the bed, grinning like she'd won the lottery. You think so? I think whoever he is, he's lucky. Lisa's throat tightened. She crossed to the bed, sat beside her daughter. You know you're the most important person in my life, right? No matter what. I know, Mom. Maya leaned against her shoulder. But Grandma's right. You deserve to be happy. Not just Mom happy. Like, you happy. When did you get so wise? I'm 12. We know everything. The doorbell rang. Lisa's heart jumped into her throat. She stood, smoothed her dress, the blue one, she decided on the blue one, and walked downstairs like she was heading to battle. Richard stood on her porch in a charcoal suit that fit him like a prayer, holding a bouquet of sunflowers. You remembered, Lisa breathed. You mentioned them. Tuesday. You said your favorite flowers were sunflowers because they always face the light. He handed them to her. I pay attention. Behind her, she heard Maya's barely suppressed giggle from the stairs. Maya, Lisa called without turning around. Go watch TV. But Mom. Now. Footsteps retreated. Lisa looked back at Richard, who was trying very hard not to laugh. That's Maya? That's my nosy daughter who's supposed to be giving us privacy. I heard that. Maya's voice drifted from the living room. Richard did laugh then, warm and genuine. I like her already. You haven't met her yet. Want to fix that? I made reservations at the old Pink House, but we could always grab pizza instead. Get to know each other. All 3 of us. Lisa stared at him. Men didn't do this. Men didn't offer to include her daughter on the first date. Men saw Maya as a complication, an obstacle, something to work around. You want to have pizza with my 12-year-old daughter instead of dinner at the most romantic restaurant in Savannah? I want to spend time with you, Richard said simply. However that looks. Maya appeared in the doorway. I vote pizza. Maya. What? He seems nice. And I'm hungry. Richard looked at Lisa, eyebrow raised, smile playing at his lips. What do you say, Lisa? Pizza? She should maintain boundaries. Keep this separate. Protect Maya from getting attached to someone who might not stay. But Richard was looking at her like she was the only decision that mattered. And Maya was practically bouncing with excitement. And Lisa was so tired of being afraid. "Pizza," she said. 2 hours later, Lisa sat in a corner booth at Vinnie Van Gogh's, watching Richard teach Maya how to fold a pizza slice the proper New York way, and something in her chest cracked open. He was patient with her daughter. Asked about school. Listened to her talk about soccer like it was the most fascinating subject in the world. Made terrible dad jokes that had Maya groaning and laughing in equal measure. "So," Maya said, chin in her hands, studying Richard with the intensity only a 12-year-old could muster. "What are your intentions with my mom?" "Maya." Lisa nearly choked on her soda. Richard didn't miss a beat. "Honorable ones. I intend to make her laugh, take her on adventures, and prove that age is just a number." "Good answer." Maya nodded sagely. "But if you hurt her, I know karate." "You know 1 semester of karate. Still counts." Richard raised his hands in surrender. Message received. "Don't mess with the Wicks women." Lisa's phone buzzed. Her mother, how's the date? Is he handsome? Send pictures, She looked up to find Richard watching her, something soft in his expression. "What?" she asked. "You're beautiful when you smile. Really smile. Not the professional one. This one." Her cheeks warmed. Across the table, Maya made exaggerated kissing noises. "Okay, that's it. We're leaving." But she was laughing. Actually laughing. For the first time in 3 years, Lisa felt light. "Dangerous," whispered a voice in her head. "This is dangerous." But as Richard walked them to her car, his hand finding the small of her back, as Maya chattered about how totally cool he was, as Savannah's spring night wrapped around them warm and perfect. Lisa thought maybe dangerous was exactly what she needed. "Thank you," she said when they reached her car. "For tonight. For including Maya." For what?" "For making me feel 25 again." Richard stepped closer. Close enough that she could smell his cologne. Close enough that she had to tilt her head back to meet his eyes. "Lisa," he said softly. "I don't want you to feel 25. I want you to feel exactly like who you are. 38. Beautiful. Strong. A mother. A businesswoman. All of it." His hand came up, almost touching her cheek but not quite. "Because that's who I'm falling for." Her breath stopped. "Mom." Maya called from the car. "Are you gonna kiss him or what?" The moment shattered into laughter. "Not tonight," Lisa called back, but she was looking at Richard. "Soon though?" he asked, voice low enough only she could hear. "Maybe. I'll take maybe." She got in the car, started the engine, pulled away from the curb. In the rearview mirror, Richard stood under the streetlight, watching until she turned the corner. "I like him, Mom," Maya said. Lisa's hands tightened on the steering wheel. "Me too, baby. Me too." And that terrified her more than anything. But falling for Richard Thompson is the easy part. The hard part? Believing she deserves him. And the world isn't about to make that easy. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more emotional and heart-touching stories that speak to the soul, and share your thoughts in the comments to tell us which story you want to hear next. Now let us continue. June arrived in Savannah with heat that made the air shimmer and humidity that clung to skin like a second layer. Lisa had been seeing Richard for 5 weeks. 5 weeks of stolen lunches in quiet cafes. 5 weeks of late-night phone calls after Maya went to bed. 5 weeks of feeling like a teenager with a crush and a grown woman falling in love in equal, terrifying measure. They hadn't kissed yet. Not for lack of wanting. But every time the moment came close, outside a restaurant, in her driveway, across a table, Lisa pulled back. Some part of her still convinced this was temporary. That he'd wake up one day and realize she was too old, too complicated, too much. "You're overthinking again." Lisa blinked. Richard sat across from her at their favorite cafe, the one overlooking Forsyth Park, watching her with that patient expression that made her heart ache. "I'm not overthinking. You've stirred your coffee for 3 minutes straight. There's no sugar left to dissolve." She set down her spoon. "Richard." "Lisa." He reached across the table, took her hand. This time she let him. His fingers were warm, steady. Younger than hers, but somehow exactly right. "Talk to me. What's going on in that brilliant head of yours?" "Everything. Nothing." The way her mother had raised an eyebrow when Lisa mentioned Richard's age. The looks from other women when they walked together. The voice in her head that sounded suspiciously like her ex-husband, "You're not enough. You'll never be enough, I have a business event next week," she said instead. "The Coastal Business Summit. It's important. Potential clients. Networking. Sounds good. I was wondering if you'd come. With me. As my..." She trailed off. "As your what, Lisa?" She met his eyes. "As my date." Richard's smile could have lit the entire park. I'd love to. There'll be people there. People who'll see us together. Who'll notice the age difference. Let them notice. Richard, you don't understand. In my world, people talk. They'll say she stopped. They'll say you're what? His voice was gentle. Patient. But there was steel underneath. A cougar, she whispered. That I'm using you. That you're having some kind of crisis. That this isn't real. Richard stood up. Walked around the table. Pulled her to her feet and into his arms right there in the middle of the cafe, in the middle of the day, where anyone could see. Lisa Wicks, he said softly, tilting her chin up with his finger. I have spent 5 weeks trying to be patient. Trying to give you space. Trying to prove that this, he gestured between them, is real. But I need you to hear something. Her heart hammered against her ribs. I don't care what people say. I don't care about 7 years. I don't care about any of it. His thumb brushed her cheek. I care about you. About Maya. About building something real with a woman who makes me want to be better than I've ever been. You barely know me. Then let me know you more. And before she could overthink it, before fear could stop her, Richard kissed her. Soft at first. Tentative. Like he was asking permission with every movement. Then Lisa's hands fisted in his shirt, and tentative became certain. Became 5 weeks of wanting. Became everything she'd been too afraid to reach for. When they finally pulled apart, breathless, the cafe had gone quiet. Lisa looked around. Everyone was staring. Let them look, Richard murmured against her temple. Let the whole world look. You're mine, and I'm yours, and that's all that matters. Lisa wanted to believe him. She really, really wanted to believe him. The Coastal Business Summit took over the Savannah International Trade and Convention Center the following Thursday evening. Lisa wore an emerald green dress that hugged her curves, her natural curls styled in soft waves. She'd spent an hour getting ready, changing 3 times, finally settling on confidence even if she didn't entirely feel it. Richard picked her up at 6:30, devastating in a black suit that probably cost more than her mortgage payment. You look incredible, he said, eyes moving over her with open appreciation. You clean up pretty well yourself. In the car, he reached for her hand. Hey. Whatever happens tonight, we're together. Okay? Lisa nodded, but anxiety coiled in her stomach. The convention center buzzed with Savannah's business elite. Lisa spotted several potential clients, colleagues, competitors. She straightened her shoulders, slipped into professional mode. Lisa. She turned. Marcus Chen, no, wait. She shook her head. Booker Whitlock, a fellow consultant she'd worked with years ago, approached with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Booker. Good to see you. Is it though? His gaze slid to Richard, lingered just a fraction too long. And who's this? New client? Richard Thompson. Richard extended his hand. Lisa's boyfriend. The word hung in the air. Boyfriend. They hadn't discussed labels. But hearing it now, in Richard's confident voice, made something warm bloom in Lisa's chest. Booker's eyebrows rose. Thompson texts Richard Thompson? The billionaire wunderkind? His smile sharpened. Well, Lisa always did know how to network. The implication was clear. Lisa's spine stiffened. Excuse me? No offense intended. But Booker's tone said otherwise. Just impressive, that's all. Landing a client and a boyfriend in one package. Very efficient. Richard's jaw tightened. You want to rephrase that? Richard, Lisa said quietly, hand on his arm. It's fine. It's not fine. Booker laughed. Easy there, kid. No need to get territorial. I'm sure Lisa can fight her own battles. She's been doing it long enough, haven't you, Lisa? What are you now, pushing 40? 38, Lisa said evenly, even as humiliation burned through her. Right. And you're what, Richard? 25? 26? 31. Ah? Well. Booker's smile was poisonous. Good for you both. Though Lisa, word of advice? Men his age are exploratory. Don't get too comfortable. He walked away before either of them could respond. Lisa's hands trembled. She clasped them together, fighting the urge to leave, to run, to hide from the whispers she could already hear starting around them. Lisa. Don't. She forced a smile. He's just bitter. Ignore him. But she couldn't ignore the looks. The sideways glances. The whispered conversations that stopped when she approached. Throughout the evening, it continued. Subtle digs. Raised eyebrows. The woman who asked Richard if he was Lisa's assistant. The man who congratulated Lisa on still attracting them young. By 8 p.m., Lisa's professional smile felt carved into her face. She excused herself to the restroom, locked herself in a stall, and pressed her palms against her eyes. This is why you don't do this, the voice in her head whispered. This is why you stay safe. Her phone buzzed. Maya, Mom, Grandma's driving me crazy. When are you coming home? How's your date with Richard? Did he see you in the dress? Did he die? Despite everything, Lisa smiled. Her daughter. Her anchor. She took a breath, fixed her makeup, and walked back out. Richard waited in the hallway, leaning against the wall, scrolling through his phone. He looked up when she approached, and his expression softened. You okay? I'm fine. Lisa. I said I'm fine, Richard. It came out sharper than she intended. He studied her for a long moment. You want to leave? No. I have clients to talk to. Connections to make. This is important for my business. More important than. Yes. The word was hard. Final. This is my career. My livelihood. How I support my daughter. So yes, it's important. Something flickered in Richard's eyes. Hurt, maybe. Or understanding. Okay. They went back inside. Lisa threw herself into networking. Smiled until her face ached. Talked business, made connections, pretended her heart wasn't splintering with every whispered comment she overheard. At 9:30, she was talking with a potential client when she heard it. Two women at the bar. Loud enough to be overheard. Probably intentionally. I mean, good for her, right? Snagging a billionaire at her age? Please. He's clearly going through something. First billion, needs an older woman to make him feel grounded. Give it 6 months. He'll trade her in for the newer model. God, can you imagine? Being almost 40 and dating someone in their 30s? Desperate much? The room tilted. Lisa excused herself from the conversation, walked toward the exit on autopilot. Richard caught up with her in the parking lot. Lisa, wait. Take me home. Talk to me. I said take me home. The words exploded out of her. Please, Richard. Just, take me home. The drive was silent. When they pulled up to her townhouse, Lisa reached for the door handle. Lisa. Richard's voice was quiet. Don't let them win. She looked at him. This beautiful, successful, brilliant man who could have anyone. Anyone younger, easier, less complicated. They're not wrong, she whispered. Yes, they are. You're 31 years old, Richard. You should be with someone your own age. Someone without baggage. Without a kid. Without what? Without strength? Without intelligence? Without the courage it takes to rebuild your entire life? He twisted in his seat to face her. You think I care about 7 years? You think that matters to me? It matters to everyone else. I'm not in love with everyone else. The words crashed between them like thunder. Lisa's breath stopped. What? Richard ran his hand through his hair. I wasn't going to say it like this. I had a plan. Something romantic. But screw it. He looked at her, eyes blazing. I'm in love with you, Lisa. I have been since you told off my entire executive team in that presentation. And I don't care if you're 38 or 48 or 68. I don't care what anyone says. I care about you. Tears burned in Lisa's eyes. You don't understand what you're asking. Then explain it to me. I'm asking you to weather judgment. Criticism. People constantly questioning if this is real. If I'm using you. If you're having a crisis. Her voice broke. I'm asking you to be with someone the world thinks you should have outgrown. The world can go to hell. Easy to say when you're. When I'm what? Young? Rich? Is that what you think this is about? Richard's voice rose. You think I'm some kid who doesn't know his own mind? That I haven't thought about all of this? Have you? Have you really thought about what this means long term? When I'm 50 and you're 43? When you're still the most incredible woman I've ever met? Yeah, Lisa. I've thought about it. And I still choose you. Every single time, I choose you. You say that now. I'll say it forever if you let me. Silence crashed down. Lisa's tears spilled over. I'm scared. Richard's expression softened. He reached for her hand. I know. I'm scared you'll wake up one day and realize I'm not worth it. That the whispers are right. That you could do better. Lisa. He brought her hand to his lips, kissed her knuckles gently. There is no better. There's only you. She wanted to believe him. God, she wanted to believe him. But her ex-husband's voice echoed in her head. Asterisk too boring. Too comfortable. Not enough, asterisk. I need time, she whispered. To think. How much time? I don't know. Richard's jaw clenched. But he nodded. Okay. Take your time. But Lisa? I'm not going anywhere. When you're ready to believe that you deserve this, that we deserve this, I'll be here. She got out of the car, walked to her door on shaking legs. Inside, the house was quiet. Maya asleep upstairs. Her mother gone home. Lisa leaned against the closed door and let herself cry. Her phone buzzed. Richard, asterisk I meant what I said. Every word. I love you, asterisk. She stared at the message until her vision blurred. Then she turned off her phone and went upstairs, crawling into bed fully dressed, and let the tears come until there was nothing left. The next morning, Lisa's mother showed up at 8 a.m. with coffee and a knowing look. Maya called me, Diane Wicks said, settling at the kitchen table. Said you came home crying last night. Lisa wrapped her hands around the coffee mug. I'm fine, ma. Baby girl, you are many things. Fine is not one of them. Her mother's dark eyes, so like Lisa's own, studied her with 64 years of wisdom. This about that young man you've been seeing? He told me he loves me. And that made you cry because? Because he's 31, ma. 7 years younger. And last night, people looked at us like I was some desperate older woman clinging to her youth. Diane was quiet for a moment. Then, you remember what I told you when Marcus left? Lisa's ex-husband. She flinched at the name. I told you that you spent 10 years making yourself smaller for a man who didn't deserve you. 10 years hiding your brilliance because he couldn't handle being outshined. Her mother reached across the table, took her hand. Now you've got a man who sees your light and wants to stand in it with you, and you're pushing him away because of what? Other people's opinions? It's not that simple. It never is, baby. But answer me this, do you love him? Lisa's throat closed. Do you love him? Her mother pressed. Yes, Lisa whispered. God help me, yes. Then the only question is whether you're brave enough to fight for it. What if he realizes I'm not worth fighting for? Lisa Marie Wicks. Her mother's voice went stern. You are 38 years old. You built a business from nothing. Raised a beautiful daughter. Survived a divorce that would have broken a lesser woman. You are worth fighting for. And if he's half the man you say he is, he already knows that. Lisa stared into her coffee, her mother's words settling into the cracks fear had created. I'm scared, ma. I know, baby. But you don't get brave by waiting for the fear to go away. You get brave by loving anyway. Lisa faces the hardest choice of her life, let fear win, or fight for a love that could be everything she's ever wanted, if she's brave enough to reach for it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more emotional and heart-touching stories that speak to the soul, and share your thoughts in the comments to tell us which story you want to hear next. Now let us continue. Lisa didn't call Richard. For 3 days, she let his messages go unanswered. Let his calls roll to voicemail. Threw herself into work, into Maya's soccer games, into anything that kept her from thinking about the look on his face when she'd asked for time. I'll be here, he'd said. But would he? Really? It was Sunday afternoon, mid-June, when Maya finally confronted her. Lisa sat on the couch, laptop open, staring at a proposal she'd read 17 times without retaining a single word. The Savannah heat pressed against the windows, making the air conditioner work overtime. Mom. She looked up. Maya stood in the doorway, arms crossed, wearing the expression she got when she was about to say something Lisa wouldn't want to hear. Yes, baby? You're being stupid. Lisa blinked. Excuse me? About Richard. You're being stupid. Maya walked into the living room, planted herself on the coffee table directly in Lisa's line of sight. He's called, like, 1,000,000 times. He sent flowers. He even texted me to make sure you were okay. He what? He got my number from you calling me that night at the pizza place. He texted yesterday asking if you were all right because you weren't answering him. Maya's eyes, so much like her father's, but with none of his cruelty, were serious. Mom, he's worried about you. And you're sitting here pretending like pushing him away is protecting yourself. Maya, you're 12. You don't understand. I understand that Dad left because he was selfish. Because he wanted someone younger and prettier and more exciting. Maya's voice cracked. I was 10, Mom. I heard the things he said to you. About you being boring. About you letting yourself go. About you not being fun anymore. Lisa's heart shattered. Baby. And I've watched you spend 3 years being scared to let anyone close. Building walls so high nobody could hurt you again. Tears tracked down Maya's cheeks. But Richard isn't Dad. He looks at you like you're the son. Like you're everything. And you're throwing it away because you're scared. I'm not. Yes, you are. Maya stood up, pacing. You're scared he'll leave like Dad did. Scared you're not good enough. Scared people will judge you. But Mom, people always judge. That's what they do. The question is whether you're going to let them steal your happiness. Lisa stared at her daughter, her brilliant, perceptive, too wise for her age daughter, and felt something crack open in her chest. When did you get so smart? She whispered. I learned from the best. Maya came over, crawled into Lisa's lap like she used to when she was little. Mom, you deserve to be happy. Not just okay. Not just surviving. Actually, truly happy. And Richard makes you happy. I see it. Grandma sees it. Everyone sees it except you. Lisa wrapped her arms around her daughter, buried her face in her curls. What if he realizes I'm too much? Too old, too complicated. Then he's an idiot and we'll egg his house. Maya pulled back, grinned through her tears. But I don't think he will. I think he's one of the good ones. And I think you should stop being scared and go get him. Just like that? Just like that. Lisa held her daughter's face in her hands. I love you. So much. I love you too, Mom. Now go call him before he gives up on you. Lisa reached for her phone. 17 missed calls. 23 texts. The last one from this morning. Asterisk Richard, I said I'd wait, and I meant it. But Lisa, please just let me know you're okay. Even if you don't want to see me. I just need to know you're alright, asterisk. Her hands shook as she typed, asterisk I'm okay. Can we talk, asterisk. The response came in seconds, when and where? Asterisk tonight? My place? After Maya goes to bed, asterisk. I'll be there. 8 o'clock felt like an eternity away. Lisa spent the afternoon cleaning a house that was already spotless. Made dinner she barely touched. Helped Maya with homework while her mind spun through everything she wanted to say. At 7:30, after Maya was in bed, though Lisa suspected she was absolutely eavesdropping, Lisa changed into jeans and a soft sweater. Took down her hair. Tried to breathe. The doorbell rang at exactly 8 p.m. Richard stood on her porch looking like he hadn't slept in days. His usual polish was gone, jeans wrinkled, t-shirt slightly askew, hair uncombed like he'd been running his hands through it. He looked beautiful. Hi, Lisa said. They stood there, the June evening thick around them, cicadas singing in the trees. Come in, Lisa finally said. He followed her inside, to the living room where she'd spent 3 days hiding from her feelings. They sat on opposite ends of the couch, the space between them feeling like miles. I'm sorry, they said simultaneously. Lisa almost laughed. Almost. You have nothing to apologize for. Neither do you. Richard turned to face her. Lisa, I meant what I said. All of it. But I pushed too hard. I didn't give you space to process. I love you. The words fell into the space between them like stones into still water. Richard went completely still. What? I love you, Lisa repeated, stronger this time. I have loved you since you showed up at my door with coffee and sunflowers. Since you included Maya in our first date. Since you looked at me like I was the only person who mattered. Her voice shook. And it terrifies me. Why? Because I'm 38 years old, Richard. In 7 years, I'll be 45 and you'll be 38. In 15 years, I'll be 53 and you'll be 46. People will always look at us and see the age gap. Always whisper. Always judge. So let them. It's not that simple. Yes, it is. Richard moved closer, took her hands in his. Lisa, I have dated models. Actresses. Women who were age-appropriate and perfect on paper. And none of them, not one, made me feel the way you do. Do you know why? She shook her head, tears already forming. Because they weren't you. They didn't challenge me. They didn't make me want to be better. They didn't look at me like I was more than my bank account or my company or my age. His thumbs brushed across her knuckles. You see me, Lisa. The real me. And I see you. Not your age. Not your past. Not what anyone else thinks. I see a woman who is brilliant and strong and brave and so damn beautiful it makes my chest hurt. Richard. I'm not done. He smiled, but his eyes were serious. You want to know what I see in 15 years? I see us in this house, or maybe a bigger one if Maya wants space for friends. I see Sunday mornings and coffee and you stealing the covers. I see me at your business events, proudly telling everyone about my incredible partner. I see us navigating whatever life throws at us, together. Lisa's tears spilled over. You've really thought about this. I think about it every day. I think about forever with you every single day. He cupped her face in his hands, wiped her tears with his thumbs. So the only question that matters is, do you want that too? Because if you do, if there's even a chance, I will weather every whisper, every judgment, every raised eyebrow. I will stand beside you and fight for us until you believe that this is real. I'm scared I'll hold you back, Lisa whispered. You could never. I'm scared you'll wake up one day and regret choosing me. Impossible. I'm scared. I know. He pressed his forehead to hers. I know you're scared. But Lisa, I'm scared too. I'm scared you'll push me away. I'm scared I'll lose you before we even have a chance. I'm scared that fear will steal the best thing that's ever happened to me. We're a mess, she breathed. We're human. He pulled back just enough to meet her eyes. But we're human together. If you'll have me. Lisa looked at this man, this beautiful, patient, wonderful man who somehow saw past every wall she'd built and loved her anyway. She thought about her ex-husband's cruel words. About the whispers at the business summit. About every fear that had kept her locked away for 3 years. Then she thought about Maya's words, "You deserve to be happy." And her mother's, "You get brave by loving anyway." "I want forever with you," Lisa said. "Even if it's messy. Even if people judge. Even if I'm terrified." Richard's smile could have lit the entire city. Yeah. She laughed through her tears. "I love you, Richard Thompson. I love you so much it scares me. But I'm done letting fear win. Say it again. I love you. Again. I love you, I love you, I love." He kissed her. Deep and slow and full of 3 days of missing her, 5 weeks of wanting her, a lifetime of promising to choose her. Lisa melted into him, her hands fisting in his shirt, pulling him closer. 7 years didn't matter. The whispers didn't matter. Nothing mattered except this, his lips on hers, his arms around her, his heart beating against her chest in perfect rhythm. When they finally broke apart, breathless, Richard rested his forehead against hers. "I'm never letting you go," he murmured. "Good." Lisa smiled. "Because I'm done running." "Mom." Maya's voice drifted down from upstairs. "Did you kiss him yet?" They both laughed. "I should probably go talk to her," Lisa said. "Can I come?" She looked at him. This man who wanted to be part of every piece of her life. Who saw her daughter not as an obstacle but as a gift. "Yeah," she said softly. "You can come." They found Maya sitting at the top of the stairs, grinning like she'd won the lottery. "You were eavesdropping," Lisa said. "Obviously." Maya stood up, looked at Richard. "So you're sticking around? If your mom will let me." "And you promise not to hurt her?" "I promise." "And you know I really do know karate, right?" Richard raised his hand solemnly. "I'm appropriately terrified." Maya studied him for a long moment. Then she launched herself at him in a hug that nearly knocked him over. "Welcome to the family," she said. Over her daughter's head, Richard met Lisa's eyes. The look on his face, wonder and joy and love, made her heart skip. Family, she thought. After 3 years of it being just her and Maya against the world, they were expanding. Growing. Letting someone in. It should terrify her. Instead, it felt like coming home. Later, after Maya had gone back to bed, for real this time, Richard and Lisa sat on the porch swing, his arm around her shoulders, her head on his chest. The Savannah night was thick with summer promise. Fireflies danced in the darkness. Somewhere down the street, a dog barked. "What happens now?" Lisa asked quietly. "Now?" Richard pressed a kiss to her hair. "Now we take it one day at a time. I take you on dates. You let me meet more of your world. We figure out how to blend our lives together. People are still going to talk. Let them." He tilted her chin up. "Lisa, I don't care if the whole world has an opinion. The only opinions that matter are yours, mine, and Maya's. And she already gave us her blessing. So unless you're having second thoughts, no second thoughts." She kissed him softly. "Just first-time hopes. I can work with that." They sat in comfortable silence, rocking gently, Lisa's fingers tracing patterns on his chest. "Richard, thank you. For what? For not giving up on me. For waiting. For seeing past all my fears to the person underneath." He turned her face to his, kissed her with a gentleness that made her eyes sting. "Lisa," he said softly. "Loving you isn't something I have to work at. It's the easiest thing I've ever done." She buried her face in his neck, breathing him in, letting herself believe, finally, truly believe, that this was real. That she deserved this. That age was just a number, and love was the only math that mattered. "Stay," she whispered. "Tonight? Every night. Eventually. When we're ready. When Maya's ready." She pulled back to look at him. "I want to build a life with you, Richard. A real one. I'm done being afraid." His smile was sunrise and promise and everything she'd been too scared to reach for. "Then let's build it," he said. "Together." They kissed under the Savannah stars, the porch swing creaking gently, the future spreading out before them like an unwritten story. And for the first time in 3 years, Lisa wasn't afraid of what came next. She was excited. Inside the house, Maya peeked out her bedroom window, saw her mother kissing Richard, and grinned. She pulled out her phone, texted her grandmother, * mission accomplished. Mom's happy again. 2 hearts *. The response came immediately, * about damn time. Tell Richard if he hurts her, he'll have to answer to me *. Maya laughed softly, sent back a thumbs up, and crawled into bed. Her family was whole again. Different than before, but better. And that was all that mattered. Lisa has chosen love over fear. But the real test is just beginning. Can their relationship survive when the world won't stop watching? The answer comes in the most unexpected way. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more emotional and heart-touching stories that speak to the soul, and share your thoughts in the comments to tell us which story you want to hear next. Now let us continue. 3 months later, September 2024. Lisa stood in front of the mirror in her bedroom, adjusting the deep plum dress she'd chosen for tonight's charity gala. The Savannah Preservation Foundation's annual fundraiser. The biggest social event of the season. And the first time she and Richard would appear together as a couple in front of the entire city's elite. "You look beautiful, Mom." Lisa turned. Maya stood in the doorway, wearing the navy dress they'd picked out together, her natural curls styled in an elegant updo that made her look far older than 12. "You look pretty grown up yourself," Lisa said, throat tight. "Grandma did my hair. She said I needed to look sophisticated for my first real gala." Maya walked over, stood beside her mother at the mirror. "You're nervous. Is it that obvious?" "Only to me." Maya squeezed her hand. "Mom, you've been with Richard for 3 months. You've met his family. He's had dinner here, like, 50 times. You guys are solid. Who cares what anyone else thinks? When did you become the wise one?" "I've always been the wise one. You're just finally listening." The doorbell rang. Lisa's heart jumped. "That's him. Then go get him. I'll let Grandma in through the back. She's meeting us there." Lisa made her way downstairs, smoothed her dress one more time, and opened the door. Richard stood on her porch in a tailored black tuxedo that made him look like he'd stepped off a magazine cover. But it was his expression that stole her breath, the way his eyes softened when he saw her, like she was the only thing in the world that mattered. "Wow," he breathed. "Wow yourself." He stepped inside, pulled her close, kissed her softly. "You ready for this?" "No. But I'm doing it anyway. That's my girl." He smiled against her lips. "Besides, I have a surprise for tonight." "What kind of surprise?" "The kind you'll have to wait for." He pulled back, eyes twinkling. "Trust me?" Lisa looked at this man who'd spent 3 months proving every day that he wasn't going anywhere. Who'd weathered stares and whispers and her occasional moments of panic with infinite patience. Who loved her daughter like she was his own. "Yeah," she said softly. "I trust you." The Savannah International Trade and Convention Center had been transformed into an elegant ballroom, all glittering chandeliers and draped silk and the kind of old-world charm the city was famous for. Lisa walked in on Richard's arm, Maya beside them, and felt every eye in the room turn their direction. "Here we go," she thought. But Richard's hand tightened on hers, steadying. Grounding. "Mr. Thompson." A society matron Lisa vaguely recognized descended on them. "How wonderful to see you. And this must be?" "Lisa Wicks," Richard said smoothly. "My girlfriend. And her daughter, Maya." The woman's smile tightened almost imperceptibly. "How lovely. Quite the age difference, I hear." 7 years, Lisa said before she could stop herself. "I'm 38, he's 31. It's really not that scandalous." Richard's lips twitched. The matron blinked. "Well, I suppose. If you'll excuse us," Richard said pleasantly, "I see some people we need to greet." He steered them away smoothly. "Did I just sass a society matron?" Lisa whispered. "You did. It was amazing." Richard grinned. "See? Not so scary." The evening progressed. They mingled. Made small talk. Endured the occasional raised eyebrow or whispered comment. But slowly, Lisa began to relax. Because for every person who judged, there were 2 who congratulated them. For every whisper, there was a genuine smile. And through it all, Richard never left her side. "You okay?" he asked during a quiet moment. "Yeah," Lisa said, surprised to realize she meant it. "Actually, I am." "Good. Because we're about to make things a little more public." Before she could ask what he meant, the lights dimmed. A spotlight hit the stage at the front of the ballroom. The MC stepped up to the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming tonight. Before we begin the main program, we have a special guest who'd like to say a few words. Please welcome Richard Thompson, CEO of Thompson Tech." Lisa's stomach dropped. "Richard, what?" But he was already walking toward the stage, leaving her standing with Maya. "Did you know about this?" Lisa hissed to her daughter. Maya grinned. "Maybe." Richard took the microphone, completely at ease in front of 300 of Savannah's most prominent citizens. "Good evening," he began. "I know you're all here for the Preservation Foundation's important work, and I promise I'll be brief. But I wanted to take a moment to talk about preservation of a different kind." Lisa's heart hammered. 3 months ago, I met a woman who changed my life." Richard's eyes found hers across the room. "She's brilliant. Strong. An incredible mother. A successful businesswoman. And when we started dating, people had opinions." A ripple of uncomfortable laughter went through the crowd. They said she was too old for me. That I was too young for her. That it wouldn't last. That we were from different worlds. Richard's voice was steady. Strong. "And you know what? They were right about one thing. We are from different worlds. She's from a world where you earn everything through hard work and determination. Where you put your family first. Where you rebuild yourself when life knocks you down. And I'm incredibly lucky she let me into that world. Lisa's eyes burned with tears. As for the age difference? Richard smiled. 7 years. That's all. 7 years that have given her wisdom I'm still learning. Experience I respect. A perspective that makes me better every single day. So to everyone who thinks she's too old for me, I have just one thing to say: you're absolutely right. I don't deserve her. But I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to. The room had gone completely silent. Richard stepped down from the stage, walked directly to Lisa through the parted crowd. When he reached her, he took her hands in his. "Lisa Wicks," he said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "I love you. I love your strength. I love your courage. I love the way you love your daughter. I love that you challenge me and push me and make me want to be worthy of you." "Richard," Lisa whispered, tears streaming down her face. "I know we've only been together 3 months. I know some people will say it's too soon. But I've never been more certain of anything in my life." He reached into his pocket, pulled out a small velvet box. Lisa's breath stopped. Richard dropped to one knee. The entire ballroom gasped. "I'm not asking you to marry me tonight," Richard said, eyes locked on hers. "I know you need time. I know Maya needs time. I know we need to build our foundation slowly, carefully, the right way." He opened the box, revealing a stunning diamond ring. "But I am asking you to promise me forever. To believe that this is real. To trust that I will choose you every single day for the rest of our lives. Lisa Wicks, will you wear this ring as a promise? A promise that one day, when we're both ready, you'll marry me." The room faded away. 300 people, the chandeliers, the whispers, all of it disappeared until it was just Richard, on his knee, offering her everything. Lisa looked down at this man who'd fought for her when she was too scared to fight for herself. Who saw past her walls to the woman underneath. Who loved her not despite her age, but because of everything that age had taught her. "Yes," she whispered. Then louder, "Yes. Yes to the promise. Yes to forever. Yes to all of it." Richard's smile could have powered the sun. He stood, slid the ring onto her finger, and kissed her in front of everyone. And Lisa kissed him back, pouring 3 months of love, 3 years of healing, 38 years of learning to believe in herself into that kiss. The ballroom erupted in applause. When they finally broke apart, breathless, Maya was there, throwing her arms around both of them. "Does this mean he's going to be my stepdad?" she asked, grinning through happy tears. "Eventually," Richard said, pulling her into the embrace. "If that's okay with you." "It's definitely okay with me." Lisa's mother appeared beside them, dabbing at her eyes with a handkerchief. "About damn time," Diane said, but she was smiling. "Welcome to the family, Richard." "Thank you, Mrs. Wicks. Call me Diane. Or Ma, when you're ready." She hugged him fiercely. "You hurt my daughter, I don't care how much money you have. I know people." Understood. The rest of the evening passed in a blur of congratulations. The whispers had changed, from judgment to surprise to genuine happiness. Even the society matron from earlier approached to offer grudging congratulations. "I suppose love doesn't care about age," she said stiffly. "No," Lisa agreed, looking up at Richard. "It really doesn't." Hours later, after the gala had ended, after they dropped Maya at home with Diane for the night, Richard and Lisa walked along River Street, the Savannah River flowing dark beside them. "You proposed in front of 300 people," Lisa said, still slightly dazed. "I wanted everyone to know I'm serious. That this isn't some fling or phase." Richard pulled her closer. "I wanted the whole world to know I choose you. You're insane." "Insane about you." Lisa groaned. "That was terrible." "You love it." "I love you." She stopped walking, turned to face him. "Richard, I need you to know something." "What?" 3 months ago, I was convinced I was too broken to love anyone. Too old, too damaged, too afraid. And then you showed up and refused to accept any of that. She touched his face, traced his jawline. "You saw me, really saw me, and loved me anyway. You made me believe in second chances. In possibility. In myself." "Lisa. Let me finish." She smiled. "I'm not scared anymore. Not of the age difference, not of what people think, not of loving you with everything I have. So yes, this is a promise ring. But it's also a promise from me to you: I will love you fiercely. I will choose you every day. And when we're both ready, when Maya's ready, I will marry you and spend the rest of my life proving that you made the right choice." Richard kissed her, soft and deep and full of promises neither of them had words for. When they pulled apart, he rested his forehead against hers. "How long do you think until we're ready?" "For what?" "To turn this promise into a real proposal. A wedding. Lisa considered. A year? Maybe less. I want Maya to have time to adjust. I want us to have time to build our life together first. A year I can do. Richard grinned. Fair warning though, I'm going to spend that entire year making you so happy you'll wonder why you waited. Is that a threat? It's a guarantee. They walked back to his car, hand in hand, the promise ring catching the streetlights. Take me home, Lisa said. Your home or mine? She looked at him, this beautiful man who'd fought through her fears to find her heart. Ours. Eventually. But tonight, mine. I want to wake up tomorrow and tell Maya we're really doing this. Building a family. The three of us. The three of us, Richard repeated softly. I like the sound of that. 1 year later. September 2025. The backyard had been transformed into a garden wonderland, all white flowers and twinkling lights and the kind of intimate elegance that made Lisa's heart sing. 50 guests. Just family and close friends. No society matrons. No judgment. Just love. Lisa stood in her childhood bedroom at her mother's house, wearing a simple ivory dress that hugged her curves, her natural curls flowing free down her back. 39 years old. About to marry a 32-year-old billionaire. And for the first time in her life, the age difference felt like nothing more than a number. You ready, Mom? Lisa turned. Maya stood in the doorway wearing a soft pink dress, holding a bouquet of sunflowers. I'm ready, baby. Good. Because Richard looks like he's about to pass out from anticipation. They laughed together, and Lisa pulled her daughter close. Thank you. For what? For being brave enough to tell me I was being stupid. For accepting Richard. For making our family bigger instead of being scared of change. Mom, he makes you happy. That's all I ever wanted. Maya grinned. Plus, he promised to pay for college, so there's that. Maya. Kidding. Mostly. Diane appeared in the doorway. It's time, baby girl. Lisa took a deep breath. Looked at her mother, 65 now, still strong and fierce and full of wisdom. Looked at her daughter, 13 now, on the edge of becoming a young woman. Looked at the promise ring on her finger that would soon be replaced with a wedding band. Let's go, she said. The ceremony was perfect. Simple vows under a flower-covered arbor. Richard in a navy suit that made his eyes impossible to look away from. Lisa in her ivory dress, feeling more beautiful than she ever had. When the officiant asked if anyone objected, Maya stage whispered, "Don't even think about it," and everyone laughed. When Richard said, "I do," his voice shook with emotion. When Lisa said, "I do," she meant it with every fiber of her being. And when they kissed as husband and wife, the applause faded away until it was just them, just this moment, this promise, this love they'd fought so hard to build. "I love you, Mrs. Thompson," Richard murmured against her lips. "I love you too, Mr. Thompson." They walked back down the aisle hand in hand, Maya right behind them, beaming like she'd personally orchestrated the entire thing. At the reception, Richard pulled Lisa onto the dance floor for their first dance as husband and wife. "Any regrets?" he asked as they swayed. "Not a single one." Lisa looked up at him. "You? Just that I didn't find you sooner. We found each other at exactly the right time." She rested her head on his chest. "I needed to be broken and rebuilt. Needed to know my own strength. Needed to be ready to receive a love this big. And now? Now I'm ready for everything. The future. Our life. Whatever comes next." Richard spun her gently, pulled her back close. "What do you see when you think about our future?" Lisa smiled. "I see Maya graduating high school, then college. I see Sunday mornings and coffee in bed. I see us building Thompson Tech into something even bigger. I see my business thriving. I see vacations and arguments and making up. I see you holding our grandkids one day. Grandkids. Maya will have kids eventually. We'll be the cool grandparents. The cool grandparents with a 7-year age gap that no one cares about anymore?" Exactly. They danced until the song ended, then through 3 more songs, lost in each other. Later, when the cake had been cut and the toasts had been made, Lisa found Maya sitting at a table, scrolling through her phone. "Hey, baby. You okay?" Maya looked up, smiled. "Yeah, Mom. I'm perfect. Just texting Dad." Lisa's stomach clenched. Her ex-husband hadn't come to the wedding, hadn't even acknowledged the invitation. What did he say? That he hopes you're happy. And that he's sorry for being a jerk. Maya shrugged. Too little, too late. But still. Nice that he said it. Lisa sat down beside her daughter. "You know Richard could never replace your dad, right? We're not trying to erase him." "I know, Mom. But Richard chose to be here. Chose to be my family. That means more than biology ever could." Maya leaned against her shoulder. "I'm really happy for you. For us. For all of this." "Me too, baby." Me too. That night, after the guests had left and Maya had gone home with Diane, Richard carried Lisa over the threshold of their new house, the one they'd bought together in Savannah's historic district. "Welcome home, Mrs. Thompson," he said, setting her down gently. Lisa looked around at the space they'd carefully chosen. Room for Maya. An office for her business. Space for Richard to work from home. A yard for future family gatherings. A home. A real home. "It's perfect," she whispered. "You're perfect. I'm 39 years old with stretch marks and a teenage daughter and a business that sometimes keeps me up at night worrying. Still perfect." Richard pulled her close. "Lisa, you are everything I never knew I needed. The age difference that everyone made such a big deal about? It's the reason you're exactly who you are. Every year, every experience, every challenge made you into the woman I love. So no, you're not perfect by some impossible standard. You're perfect for me." Lisa kissed him, pouring a year of promises kept, a lifetime of promises ahead into that kiss. "Take me upstairs," she murmured. "Your wish is my command." He swept her up again, carried her toward the stairs. "Richard, yeah? Thank you for not giving up on me. For fighting through my fears. For loving me when I didn't think I deserved it. Thank you for finally believing you did." He kissed her forehead. "Now stop talking and let me carry my wife to our bedroom." Lisa laughed, wrapped her arms around his neck, and let herself be carried into their future. No more fear. No more doubt. No more listening to voices that said she was too old, too damaged, too anything. Just love. Pure, simple, complicated, beautiful love. And it was more than enough. It was everything. A story of a woman who thought she was too old for love, and a man who proved that the only thing that matters is finding the right person, no matter what the world says. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more emotional and heart-touching stories that speak to the soul, and share your thoughts in the comments to tell us which story you want to hear next.